All right, so what are the worst investments, in my opinion, for 2025? Number one are tech stocks, particularly NASDAQ stocks that have outrageous PE ratios that are heavily reliant on the ability to borrow money at next to nothing. And that's not because I think the Fed is going to actually be able to get rates high enough to where they need to be because they're already cutting them. It's because during this cutting cycle, I think most of the the value is going to be in the value stocks, things that pay healthy dividends, things that are boring, things that are, people need. And my reason for that is because let's assume that the Federal Reserve does not do what they need to do, right? What they need to do is raise rates up, and what the federal government needs to do is start cutting spending. That's not going to happen. So they're going to keep rates lowish, and they're going to keep spending as much as, they want. This, of course, is going to result in inflation. Now, when the average consumer starts to feel more of the effects of inflation, they've already started to feel a lot, but when they start to feel more of the effects of inflation, their everyday purchases are going to become much more selective. And where those purchases are going to be is not on some new tech piece of equipment, some new software, etc. It's mostly going to be on the essentials. So owning value oriented stocks that are tied to the essentials of the economy is where I think your best bet is, mostly avoiding a lot of the high flying, crazy tech stocks. And obviously, there's going to be exceptions, but that is my outlook on how the situation is going to go with inflation is going to continue to get worse. Okay, so number one, I would avoid the crazy PE ratio tech stocks. Number two is meme coins. I'm not saying all of crypto. I'm just talking specifically about meme coins. Meme coins were mostly just a liquidity device. They were just a place where excess liquidity in the market was going, which is why meme coins had their best year after that crazy situation in the country where everyone wasn't working and the government was handing out lots of money, printing lots of money, a quasi stimulus checks, all that type of stuff. Meme coins benefit when it's super loose money and inflation hasn't quite hurt the average person as much as it's going to. So meme coins, personally, I would avoid most of them. There's going to be a couple that pop off, I'm sure, but if you're in crypto, I would avoid most meme coins and I would stick mostly to the blue chip cryptos, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, cryptos like that. Again, there will be some that pop off, but as a whole, I think meme coins need to be in an environment where there's a lot of liquidity and inflation is not as, hurting the average person as much as it has been. And that ties back into my first point. When inflation keeps getting worse and the average person's getting, strangled, where are they going to spend their money? They're going to spend their money on the essentials. So owning things tied to the essentials and owning crypto that is more blue chip is where I would be in 2025 and beyond. The third thing I would personally avoid is bonds. Bonds are trash. Government bonds are trash. The government's bankrupt. You're not going to get your money back, okay? You're going to get your money back in dollars, but it's going to be printed. So the dollars you get are going to be worth much less by the time you get them. It's bonds are a Ponzi scheme for the most part. Maybe corporate bonds and things like that might be if you know what you're doing, but I've always had a negative outlook on bonds because you're relying on the counterparty to be trustworthy, and that counterparty in terms of government bonds is not trustworthy. So as a whole, I would be avoiding tech stocks. I would be avoiding meme coins that are just, pie in the sky, flash in the pan, and I would be avoiding government bonds. And that's where I would, that's how I see the future going. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, share it, and I'll catch you next time.